Hi there. Welcome, everybody. I am thrilled to be here. How are you enjoying Canvas 24 so far? Hopefully you're having a blast. Tell us in the chat because we would love to hear back from you. Before I introduce myself, though, just let me kind of set the stage about what we're going to talk about today. It's one of my favorite topics, and it's about bringing a human touch to agility. And here we're going to focus in on the fields of healthcare and finance specifically. So when you think about the workforce, the debate around balancing people versus process has been a long-standing one. And it's definitely not an easy topic because there is always a natural tension between people and process. When you look at the software angle here, though, you want a workspace that feels like it is built for you. And to truly enable collaboration across teams, you want to ensure people feel heard and supported. But you also want the workspace to support creating a transparent and predictable process. So, how do we sort this out? How do we see how real-world teams sort out this conundrum? So to discuss this and so much more, we'll have Jill Clement, who's an active practitioner and Agile innovator in the Senior Supplemental Insurance or SSI division of CVS Health, and Emily Belanger, who's the VP of Agile Methodology and Standards at Prudential. But before I introduce them, let me just introduce myself quickly. I'm Dave Ross, and I'm the principal Agile Evangelist at Miro. And I've worked with software engineering teams over the last 2 decades, engaging and leading Agile transformations across companies of all kinds of different sizes. And I have seen this natural tension where you have to balance the process side and people who are part of this process. Now, CVS Health is one of the US's leading health solutions companies, and it provides advanced healthcare from pharmacy services and health plans to health and wellness. The Senior Supplemental Insurance or SSI division of Aetnas provides insurance products and services designed to complement existing health coverage for older adults. Jill has been with the company for 20 years and led one of the first teams within Aetnas to adopt Agile. She is a leader in SSI's Agile and Safe Journey, and also a certified advanced Scrum Master, release train engineer, and product owner. It's quite the resume. So hi, Jill, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Dave. I am from SSI, as you said, and we are a quickly growing division of Aetna. We, in addition to being an Agile coach for the team and a Scrum Master, I'm on the committee that tries to introduce the team to best practices for frameworks, for Agile practice, and most importantly for this conversation, I'm the champion for tools that we introduce into our software delivery group, one of which is Miro. So I've been championing this tool for, I guess, about 3 or 4 years now.
Wow. Well, and we appreciate you doing that, of course, for Miro. So thank you, Jill. We're thrilled that you're here. And our next guest that we have as well is Prudential. Prudential is from Prudential. Prudential is a leading global financial institution that offers a wide range of insurance and retirement planning, investment management, and other related financial services. It's a well-known household name in many parts of the world. And from also being within the US and around 40 countries around the world, they serve both retail and institutional clients, helping them achieve financial security and long-term success. So Emily has been working and living Agile since 2010, which is quite a feat and quite an accomplishment, if you ask me, when she first learned about iterative development. As a leader in Prudential's Agile Transition Office, she has strived for consistency in Agile methodology and standards across the company. She's also, like Jill was, responsible for Agile planning and collaboration tools to support great employee experience while executing and supporting Agile ways of working. Welcome, Emily. We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining. How are you enjoying Canvas 24 so far?
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. Just to iterate, Emily Belanger, and yes, I'm at Prudential. I've been here for 3 years now, and really focusing in on our Agile best practices, right? Our ways of working. And then I work and tie that closely to all of our planning and collaboration tools. So there's a variety of tools. So we also focus in on integration, right? How do we integrate and make that process seamless for our associates so they can be working together, collaborating, and they have the tools to support them that are very easy to use and support that collaboration.
Perfect. That's great. And we're going to get to both of your perspectives here shortly. I'm really excited that we get to talk about the world of healthcare insurance and financial services and how they're making Agile more human. So tell me, Jill, you introduced Agile to your division of Aetna and have been an advocate for it for years. Can you talk about how you took a team from order taking to true collaboration using Miro?
Sure. Several years ago, the thought leaders within our IT group in SSI attended a workshop on the Scaled Agile framework. And that experience helped to catalyze us into our Agile and safe journey. We formed a working group, and through several in-person workshop sessions down at our home office in Tennessee, we created our teams, named product owners and scrum masters, and then those folks went off and set to work defining safe backlogs of features and stories for us. We had several sessions with the teams to learn about Agile and the concepts of sprint, stories, estimating, using points, and the concept of minimal viable product, or MVP. MVP, that concept alone has been very helpful for us. I used Miro for several of these sessions. One early key to our success is that we spent time understanding the challenges of our users and collaborating on possible solutions. This encouraged the teams to have well-written acceptance criteria, something we had struggled with for years, and also helped them with talking through estimates so that when we got to capacity planning, we had a realistic view of how much capacity we had, which was also a huge improvement for us over how we had struggled to express to the business what we were going to commit to for any given release previously. Once we were ready to do PI planning, we tried one session in person, but because we have a lot of folks overseas and they weren't able to attend, it wasn't a great option for us. So while we were pondering what we would do instead and discussing whether or not we could use Miro, COVID hit. So my product owner for one of my teams at that time and I had both separately been looking at Miro and to see if we could use it for PI planning. Luckily for us, we found a really great template, and we were able to use that to show the business what they would see out of PI planning. The rest is SSI history, as we've been iterating on that same exact template ever since, as well as using Miro for other things like user personas, process flows, user journeys, road mapping, I mean, you name it. And we've probably got a board for it.
Wow, that's an amazing journey. So, you know, sometimes things happen for a reason, I guess, Jill. So we're really glad you found us and that we were able to fill that need that you had at such a difficult point in history for everybody. Emily, have you experienced a similar transformation on how your team at Prudential does planning? And also, if you wouldn't mind, could you talk a little bit about the integration of business and technology teams as part of an agile transformation and how to bring teams closer to the customer?
Absolutely. So we've been on our Agile journey for several years now. And one of our key tenets is bringing our teams closer to the customer. In order to achieve that, we've really brought together our technology teams and our business teams. You know, in the Agile community, there's a lot of conversation around Conway's Law, right? And the methods we use for communication. And so that way that you communicate then builds your systems, right? Our goal is to really build systems that meet our customer needs. And so in bringing our technology and business teams together, that's how we're really starting to see a huge improvement in behavior around building those systems that really meet our customer needs. And we're having great success in that area. You know, so collaboration is very key for us. As Jill mentioned, you know, COVID was a few years ago and everyone was kind of impacted by that. And we do have augmented our collaboration through using Miro and other tools to really bring and level set everyone playing field for collaboration during planning, right? And so in our planning events, we have teams across the organization that are, primarily US or could be located in a different location. They might be in our central location in Newark, but when we do planning, many of those are virtual. Some we do in person, but many are virtual. When it comes to the virtual nature of planning, our teams have really found huge value in Miro and using that for planning. So then everyone can contribute. They're using various different templates, and we'll share that later with you, where you have collaboration on features and stories, and we also have the added benefit of integration with Jira. So that is one huge benefit that our teams have seen, because that is it reduced duplicate entry of information. So they can put it into Miro, click a couple of buttons, and it does load into their Jira backlog, so that once they do start executing those stories or features, it really is seamless for them.
That's great. It's really amazing how you can bring all of those teams into one platform, and it's amazing that you use Miro to do it. So thanks for sharing, Emily. Jill, I'm going to now return to you for a second. You mentioned Miro and using it for planning. I would love a demo, and I know that you pre-recorded it. So can we go ahead and watch that now?
Sure.
All right. Sharing Jill's demo.
Okay, this is the Miro board that we've been using since we began our Scaled Agile or SAFE journey several years ago for PI planning. PI, for those of you not using SAFE, stands for Planning Increment, which for us is quarterly. In each planning increment, there are several sprints, and we've one board for every year. We use a Miro board for several reasons. During our PI planning, we do it virtually, so this board comes the closest we can to replicating an in-person experience. Miro allows teams to see what other teams are doing real time during PI planning and throughout the PI. It also gives us one place to see what all our teams are delivering, which is extremely challenging in our work management application. We can also easily see dependencies, which are the red lines on the board, and we can keep them front of mind during our sprints. I found this template on the Miroverse. It's aptly called Safe PI Planning and created by Maxim Badalin of Agile Lab. If you haven't delved into the Miroverse templates, I'd highly recommend it, as templates can save you a lot of time. As you can see, we have a Miro board for each PI. I'm going to focus in on our current PI. The board is divided into 3 vertical sections. Starting on the right, this is the section where our teams do the actual planning of figuring out what to deliver in each sprint. Before the PI, each Scrum Master exports their backlogs out of our work management system and use the Excel paste as stories function to populate Miro. While this is helpful functionality, it's still pretty time consuming compared to using the integration that exists between Miro and Jira. Needless to say, we're pretty envious of those teams who already have Jira. In any case, for each sprint, we capture capacity and load, as well as using the green and red boxes here to capture PI objectives and also risks, and also manage our risks within that box. Some of the little things that help us collaborate within and across the teams are tags, icons, the timer, and of course, comments, which you can see here. Moving to the middle section, this is the main PI planning board, and this is where users land each time they come to the board. By the end of our PI planning week, the first sprint or 2 are fully filled in and later sprints are outlined. Scrum Masters keep this board current throughout the PI so that any stakeholder can look at this board and see what we have already delivered, what we're currently delivering, or what we currently plan to deliver in the sprints remaining in the PI. This is the board we also speak to during PI planning status meetings. And once the sprints are underway, we refer to this board along with our work management system dashboard for our Scrum of Scrums and our Art Sync meetings. On the left side of the board is our newest addition to our PI planning board. And this is a board. Each board shows one of our value streams. Value streams are constituent parts of our business. In pre-PI planning, the value stream owners lay out their high, medium, and low objectives for each team. Teams use this information to make sure that we're prioritizing correctly. Conflicting priorities are resolved by the value stream owners as a group. Since these objectives are evolving, I move this section from one PI board down to the next as the year goes by. All the sticky notes on the entire board are color-coded for our value streams. Anyone can look at the main board and see which teams are doing or planning work for any value stream. We also added a color for IT-only work, also sometimes called tech debt, which has both raised awareness of this work and also created healthy discussions around it. Creating and using this Miro board as part of our SAFE journey has been instrumental in collaboration, transparency, and communication about our work. This board is very popular with our users, and we like that we've been able to evolve it as functionality is added to Miro and as we mature in our own SAFE journey.
Thanks for showing us that great demo, Jill. Wow. It's really great to see what you can accomplish when you're using Miro. So Emily, you've had a different experience, of course, because you added in the Jira integration. So tell me a little bit about how that works. And I know that you brought a demo with you as well. Can you play it for us?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to be sharing Emily's demo. 1 second. And here we go.
As talked about earlier, we do use Miro for our PI planning. What you see here is a mocked up version of what a planning board might look like within our teams. And, just to give you a quick highlight of how we use it, we do use a variety of different templates within Miro to pull them together. And I just want to highlight the main areas that we leverage. So, we have a section where we're bringing in our planning best practices as reminders and useful information, because teams do this every quarter. And then we have a section for specific to your area, what's going on, what's the research, the relevant documentation, so that you can share insights and links and information for what's coming. We have a dedicated section for feature breakdown, right? So as our teams come in and talk about the priorities of their features, they then have the opportunity to create stickies, and they can put those on a board that look like this, and they can slot them out into sprints, those stories. Once they're comfortable with that, they can right click and turn that into a Jira card. And if you want to see the team level boards for the upcoming PI as they're doing their planning, we do have that here as well. So you'll see that down here in this section. That's what this is representing. So that's really where we're getting that significant value out of the interaction and the collaboration, is then once it is converted into a Jira card, teams can start working on it as soon as the sprint starts. Lastly, we have on our planning board is Roam, right? This is where our teams can put their risk dependencies and impediments, have that conversation, identify what to do next, and then also can take that forward.
This is great to see. Thank you both for sharing your story. I'd really like to share something with you, because I'm not sure that you caught this in the keynote today or not, but we have this amazing new feature in the works that can be used for planning with or without the Jira integration. And I'm really curious if I can get your thoughts about it. So I pre-recorded, and I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second and do that and hit play. And then I'll just describe what you're looking at here. So imagine for a moment that you have access to a data table, and you want to create a list or a database of ideas from your product ideation session. That's now easily done with this new tables feature. And what's nice about this feature is that you can switch and toggle it to the already launched timeline view in case you want to showcase your entire roadmap. It's kind of like a Gantt chart experience, but in Agile, we don't talk about Gantt charts, so we won't. But maybe it's more of a roadmap view in case you want to show your entire linear view of your roadmap. Or if you're collaborating with GTM, go-to-market, on when to take a new feature to market, and you want to communicate that visually to teams. So there's lots of interesting features, dragging and dropping of Miro cards and Jira cards. And if you have the Jira integration, all of this data, of course, is synced back in real time. So if you're changing dates in Miro, it's going to sync back to Jira and vice versa. So lots of new features here that a lot of our customers have been asking for. So I don't know, Emily, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's great. As I mentioned earlier, we do use the Jira integration. And some of our goals in my team are to make our user experience as seamless as possible, less clicks, less places to enter data. And so by the integration with Miro and Jira, we're really starting that off. Seeing these new features, the ability, everyone loves a table, right? So everyone's used Excel, right? So we always go back to being able to use a table, put numbers in very quickly. And so I think that is going to be a huge benefit and is going to also decrease that need of putting stuff in multiple places. And then with the added benefit of clicking a button, getting it into Jira, that's again, integration that we want to see. And also as you highlighted the timeline view, or the roadmap view, it does also sync into Jira from what I understand, and it looks very close to what you see in Jira. So that is really going to help our teams really visualize their data in one place, because I believe they'll be able to look at more than one of the teams together, but also then not worry about the data source of Jira, because it will automatically be updated.
Yeah, that's awesome. I exactly what you've said is what I've heard probably dozens and dozens of times from other customers. We'd love to see it in a table view. We'd love to see it in a roadmap view, and we'd like to see it syncing as well. So love it. Thanks so much, Emily. Jill, how about you? So, even if you don't have the integration, you can still use Miro cards in this table format and this timeline format. Would it be something that you think is useful for you and your teams?
Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing, I'm probably going to add this to my upcoming pitch for moving my team to Jira. So that is in our immediate future. But one thing that I could immediately see us using this for is road mapping, product road mapping, especially because I actually made a very crude view like this myself, using a template that I found in the Miroverse, and then I had to do a lot of manual manipulation, and every time you change something on one view you have to manually change it on the other view, and it kind of quickly became onerous for us to keep that up, to keep it refreshed. So I think this view, with the ability to see the table and see the timeline and have them refresh each other, even without integration, is a great view for us. And we have PI planning coming up in 2 weeks, and I think I'll bring this to the group if it's available.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, we'll try it out. Tell us how it goes. We are really looking forward to your feedback. Thank you so much, Jill. Well, here we are at the end of our talk. And lastly, I just wanted to thank everybody who attended. Thank you, of course, for your time, but I also want to leave you with a little bit of a giveaway. So lucky you, because Miro cares so deeply about the Agile community. You are some of our most enthusiastic fans, some of our most passionate users, and we care a lot about what's going on in the Agile world. So we recently did a pretty big survey, and just to take the pulse of the Agile community and see what's going on. It was a large international study, covered 5 or 6 different countries, and I think 1,200 Agile practitioners and Agile leaders from around the world. And we just wanted to understand how their lived experience of Agile is currently, and how closely it aligns or doesn't align with Agile values and principles. So that survey is actually available today, and you're able to download it. The headline numbers here are a little bit surprising, and you may want to dig into it a little bit deeper, because it says 69% of workers say that processes and tools, which is our first Agile value, overshadow individuals in that organization. Process and tools are supposed to, of course, be secondary to people and interactions. So this is a shocking number to see in 2024. We also found that 58% of our respondents said that keeping documentation is more important than delivering a final product in their organization. Documentation, it's still with us. It still walks among us, unfortunately. So some of those stats from that survey should be surprising or shocking to many of you on the session today. If you want to dig into it a little bit more, please go and download that full report. You can do that by clicking the link that's in the chat to download. And with that, I want to wish everybody who joined us today a wonderful rest of Canvas 24. And most of all, I just want to thank both of you, Emily and Jill, for your time and thoughts, and for sharing your stories and experience with us. We love hearing from our customers always, and we love it even more when you share your experiences with us. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of Canvas 24, and thanks everyone.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.